What's up, my sweet summer children? Is it summer yet? British summertime, BST. That's changed. We're on BST, not GMT. Some of us, not you. Probably not me by the time you're listening to this. I'm probably in either Australia or Japan or Florida for Welcome to Rockville, or just a jet setter, aren't I? Jet set Willie, they call me. What's going on? Again, rhetorical. You can't tell me. You could leave me a comment. The number one way to support this podcast would be to not just leave me a comment, but hit subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube, or leave us a review if you're listening to it on one of the other platforms. Don't leave the review yet if it's your first time, because by now you hate me. By the end of this episode, you're going to love me. I'm going to be on board. I'm going to be part of the team. What can I plug for you? Anything to plug? Let's do a little plug. The second best way to support the podcast, don't skip. The second best way to support the podcast is by heading over to patreon.com/Downbeat, giving me £1. Basically, there's a guy now, Simon, who edits this. Hello, Simon. Leave this in, please. And I pay him now, so I need more of your money to do that. Another way that you could support is to buy some merchandise. If you're on the Patreon, you get access to the merchandise early. That's sort of like the only perk. And you might be listening to this episode early. Getting really good or really bad at this. I don't care. I'm rambling. I don't care. I do everything so you leave me a comment because it boosts the algorithm. Sometimes I'll leave a mistake in. Sometimes I'll do my hair extra specially rubbish so you say something about it. I'm the captain, okay? Now you're listening to me. I'd like to spend this next part talking about one of our sponsors, Displate. Displate, as you can see behind me on YouTube, and if not, if you're either blind, I'm sorry, or just listening to this, Displate make metal posters, right? Posters are literally made of metal. They do a Downbeat store. They do all the Marvels. You like Marvels? You a comic guy? Star Wars guy? Guy is gender neutral, by the way. You a Star Wars guy? Star Wars gal? Star Wars NB? Whatever you are, you could easily get a Star. I hope they've got Star Wars. I'm going to have to check. If I've left the word Star Wars in this ad, that means I went and checked, and they do in fact do Star Wars displays. For every display sold, they plant one tree. And they're telling me that they've done 18 million trees. Now, you do the maths. That's quite a lot. Quite a lot of displays. You can change them. You can interchange them. They're magnetic. They mount on the wall with a magnet. You just stick it on. Super easy. Are you renting? Is your landlord an absolute... Well, guess what? No holes in the wall. You're going to get that deposit back. Do you want to change? Oh, I don't want Star Wars anymore. I want a really funny, cool cat with sunglasses. Boom. Done. Right? Use the code DOWNBEAT and you get 20% off 1 to 3 displays or 30% off 3 or more. You support the podcast. You support me. You support Simon, who has actually had to do the most insane editing job, I think, ever on this last part of the podcast. Displate.com. Use the code DOWNBEAT. Just Downbeat. Check it out. My guest on the podcast this week is Alexander Jones, singer of Undeath, band with the coolest, death metal band, with the coolest logo, I think, in the world. We chat about cool death metal logos. He does a cool top 5. We chat extensively about Cannibal Corpse. We talk about... You smoke, bro? We talk about chilling. We had a chill time. It was one of the ones I didn't know him before this. We had such a good little chat. I love his band. They sound like early Cannibal Corpse. I went to see him that night in a tiny little venue. It was freaking awesome. Check out their tour dates at undeathmetal.com. Check out their latest album, It's Time to Rise from the Grave. It's Alexander Jones, not Alex Jones, on the Downbeat podcast. We'll just leave that. It's a good start. It's quite a death metal start, actually. We've just fucking...
We're already breaking things.
Smashed. I broke my fucking plant pot. And my skateboard. Also, the branding is like almost hilarious in here at the moment because it's like the bit in Wayne's World.
Coasters.
It's like the bit in Wayne's World when Garth's got all the Reebok and the Pepsi.
That's a little bit like that.
Right.
I mean, a pentagram is a good way to brand yourself. It's just like the coolest series of shapes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Alex from Undeath.
Hi.
How you doing?
Doing good. I'm a little sweaty, a little haggard, a little tired, but I'm good. I'm chilling.
I've got to say, maybe one of the most, if not the most punctual guest.
I was 7 minutes late.
Yeah, and that's the most punctual so far.
Wow.
I've got to give credit to myself. I was quite punctual. Everything was set up ready for you. Couple of mishaps breaking the... that's going to be in the shot now, broken plant pot.
Well, what's the whole Japanese thing where you fix it with gold and then it's supposed to highlight the fractures and stuff?
Nice. That's going to happen now.
Do
It's
that.
going to be you've done it.
Yeah.
And considering 7 minutes late, considering you flew yesterday
Yep.
to Heathrow, which is a long way from here.
Yeah.
Van up.
Yep.
How many people in the van?
The band's 6 plus TM plus driver, so that makes 8. 6 plus
people.
2.
And then you all stayed at somebody's house last night.
Yes, we stayed at our driver's friend, who I believe plays in a band called Despise,
Right.
who's from here.
8 people in one room? Or was it?
Our driver was lucky. He got to sleep in his friend's room, so it was 7 people in one room. Didn't seem like we were going to be able to do it at one point, but we got it done.
I wish, Colin, for the record, Undeath could have stayed here, and I would have been very accommodating.
Which one's my camera?
This one's you.
Colin. You blew it, dude. What?
I mean, I think we've tweeted each other about twice, so I don't blame him. Excuse me, can 8 people stay at your house? But for the record, you could have done it.
Well, he's your personal manager now too.
Perfect.
I'm bequeathing him to you.
I mean, he got you here. I
It's true.
assume.
Yeah.
I assume everything. Is this have you been to the UK before?
Not on business.
Okay.
I've been here. You want to go down? You can go down. I went here once with my parents when I was pretty young, and we went to. It was just England. We did London and Manchester, and then I went here with my girlfriend 5 years ago, and we did go to Scotland, but we went to Edinburgh. We didn't go to Glasgow.
That's what everyone does. Even though Edinburgh's
Why?
the better like. Let's go see the castle. Like there's shit there to go and see, but Glasgow is like the best place.
It reminds me of home in a weird way because I come from upstate Western New York, which it sucks. Not that Glasgow sucks, but it's like gray and rainy and cold. And when I was walking here, took a nice like 30-minute long walk through the rain, under all the bridges and stuff, and it was homey. It was nice and gloomy.
Honestly, Glasgow and Glasgow and New York City have got quite a lot in common. In you'll see when you go downtown later on, grid system. Like,
that's great.
I'm pretty sure it's maybe one of the only places in the country that also has like, it's not like Western fucking numbers what you guys do.
I mean, compared to the way that most other American cities are laid out, New York City is genius.
Yeah.
Like especially driving around a city like Boston, it makes no sense. Like, why isn't every street numbered?
Just an aside there. Have you been watching The Last of Us? Speaking of Boston.
Not yet. It started airing like right when we were getting ready to do this.
Did you play the game?
I played both of them, yeah.
The show's fucking sick.
Is it just shot for shot like the game?
There's stuff that is like, I'll be honest with you with the game. That first bit, I think it's not the first bit, but it's like the first really hard bit. I think you're underneath the hotel or something, like the basement.
Yeah.
I gave up. I just couldn't fucking do it. I was like, this game's sick, but it's crushing me. But there's a lot of shots from there, from the beginning to there. I noticed a lot of shots that are like shot for shot.
Sure.
Like looking at his fucked watch and stuff like that. Like,
I think it's cool. Like, I see everybody saying that it's amazing, and I'm definitely going to watch it. Like, I'm excited to check it out. But the game already was so cinematic. it already felt like you were basically just playing a movie at so many different times. So like, I want to see somebody like HBO or a real like movie production company make a cinematic experience out of like Qbert or Tetris.
Or like something fucking... I swear, did someone do something? Nah, I guess not. Yeah, I know what you mean.
That would be really impressive.
Everyone is like... I mean, I love it, and I love like what I knew of the game, but I guess for me, because I didn't finish it, I'm like, oh, cool, I get to find out what the story is without any skill. I can just fucking sit there and watch it. But, like, I guess if it was already, oh, here's a great story and great scenes and great well-shot stuff, just make it again.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch it because the way that I played those games was so aggro. Like, I didn't...
Oh, you didn't do the stealth?
No. I like to just power through those experiences.
That's me on Metal Gear Solid. It's
yeah.
Like, we need to make sure that we don't do anything. It's like, motherfucker, I'm getting in a car. I'll go find the guy that I need to extract. I'll get him. I'll leave.
If you give me the option to not be stealthy, like that's what I'm going to take. But then meanwhile, when I watch my girlfriend play games, like she's been playing the most recent Far Cry recently, and she'll do a single mission where you have to overtake an outpost for 2 hours. Because she just has to systematically go through and find like she scouts everything first. Like she must have been like a Marine sniper or something in a past life.
It gets your money worth out of the game.
It's true.
Oh, I put 500 hours into this.
Yeah, I think the most hours I've ever put into a game was the most recent Persona 5, and that was like 120.
Are you a big gamer then?
Yeah, but I play a lot of very embarrassing games. I feel like
what?
Like a lot of JRPGs. I play a lot of.
See, that's my shit as well.
Yeah, really?
Like, well, just like I don't have like I've got that's a gaming PC for streaming, right? But it's not for streaming games. But to do this fucking bullshit, hang on, I forgot to do this. Professional. I need a guy with a fucking clicker. Guys, gender neutral. Fuck you.
Just put a late title card here.
Yeah, we'll do that. We're back in. But so I got that for streaming drums and shit like that. And it just so happened to be like the spec that I needed was like when I was in the stream, people were like, oh, what's the spec of your streaming PC? And I was telling them, I was like, oh, that's like fucking insane. You should play games.
Yeah.
So I used to play games when I was a kid. And then for some reason, like music took over and I didn't carry on. But I've got a Switch and that gets far more action.
Really?
Than that.
What are you playing on it?
Just like I'll go back, they got the emulators on there.
Yeah.
And I'll do the Zeldas.
Yeah.
And I'll do like fucking Earthbound and shit like that.
Yeah, that's my shit. That's cool. Yeah, I also have like it's not like a state-of-the-art gaming PC, but I didn't build one. I don't have the patience or like the intelligence to do that. I just bought basically a pre-made one that Kyle, one of our guitarists, recommended me. And I have the capability on it to play, Call of Duty and more modern games at like very high resolution, but I'm pretty much exclusively use it to play games that came out 20, 30, 40 years ago. Yeah. Which feels very silly. But
yeah, I'm kind of exactly in the same way.
Play a lot of like bullet hell games. Like like the top-down shooter games where you play like a little spaceship and there's just like thousands and thousands of bullets coming at you.
Oh shit, yeah.
I don't know, just something about that like puts me in a very zen mindset.
Yeah.
And I find it extremely relaxing just to like hyper focus on shit like that. So that's what I spend most of my time playing.
On like a fucking gaming
yeah,
PC.
on like a spaceship.
Do you play like a console? Bring a console with you on tour or?
I tried bringing a Switch on tour once. And then I got motion sickness in the van and I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I did exactly the same thing. And that's the reason I first got one. I originally got the portable Switch.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, use this on tour. Oh, I'm so bored on tour all the time. I'll play games. Like, oh, fucking Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart. Like, got it. I think it used it once on a tour. Same thing happened. I was like, well, I can't use it when the van's moving because it's fucking freaking me out. I'm just not going to bother.
Yeah.
And then I missed it. And
I tried playing Final Fantasy VII once on tour, and I didn't even make it past like the first 30 minutes. It's just nauseating. Can't do it.
So annoying. We need like they need to just like one up like VR. So it's just like you take this pill and you go to the game.
I get like gaming withdrawal on tour. Like 3 weeks in, I'm like scratching my neck and shit. Like I want to be back sitting in front of my computer. Like I love touring and shit, but I also love like doing nothing.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Well, it's now a gaming podcast. Who cares? That's the thing. I'm like, I miss that. So, like, single player, I guess we're kind of the same like that. Single player, like, next gen, like, or current gen games. When I was a kid, so, like, when the single player fucking Ocarina of Time and shit like that came out, I played it to death.
Yeah.
And then something's gone in my brain where I can't just sit there. Like The Last of Us, it got hard and I went, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go and do something else.
Right.
I need that back and I don't know what it is. I think maybe I stopped smoking weed.
When did you stop?
Weed or games?
Weed.
Fucking one day, I just was just like, I got paranoid and I was like, oh. And then it was just ever since then.
Oh, damn. Okay.
It's so annoying because I loved smoking weed.
Sure.
And then one day it just went boom. And then now, if I'm in the States, you got it pretty fucking good. I can smoke 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Like, so if we're in a legal state, I will fucking buy 1-to-1 cartridges and I will smoke on tour.
Great.
But I can't, like, I see people fucking... the other day I did an edible.
Well, that's just like a whole totally different experience.
It was fucking horrible. Like, it was so insane.
I hate doing edibles, but I do them all the time. I like the part of weed that makes you scared. I don't know.
You like it?
Yeah, it's just fun. I feel like it taps you in with a very like fucked up primal part of your lizard brain. You know? Like
Yeah.
It really activates that fight or flight response.
So what do you do when you're scared then? Because surely you're not scared if you enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I am scared for sure, but like,
Of what though? Come on.
just
Because
like,
I know what it's like.
you know, I definitely get those moments. Like, I mean, literally 2 weeks ago, I had a rare day off to myself where I had nothing going on. I had nothing to do, no band stuff, no work stuff. And I decided, because my girlfriend actually works for like a hemp THC company.
Oh, sick.
So, and we live kind of in the middle. So I lived in Rochester for like 15 years. Grew up first like 13 years of my life downstate. Lived sort of like right outside the city, New York City.
Yeah.
And then I just moved out of Rochester in January of this year. So we live in the middle of nowhere. We live in like central New York, and she works for a company that has a hemp farm. Like they grow weed, they do all that shit out there. Started as like a CBD, CBG company. So she gets free samples and, you know, tinctures and gummies and stuff to try and bring home and like test out, basically be like a guinea pig for all the time.
It's like, I mean, not for me, but many people's dream job.
It's
like
incredible.
When you were a kid, when you thought like, wait, there's people that get paid to test games? Wait, there's people that get paid to test weed?
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I look back on like the past year of my life and I kick myself because I was such a baby about the prospect of leaving Rochester. Like Rochester.
Yeah.
You know, and
I've been.
Yeah. Like, not to just recklessly talk shit about the place I called home for, you know, a decade plus, but like it's not a ton going on. And I love people there. I love like the bars and I love the restaurants and stuff, but like I was just scared to move because I lived there for so long. And it wasn't until I actually finally got convinced by my girlfriend to come move in with her that I was like, oh, I can just have free weed like all the time. Like, why didn't I do this earlier?
I'm saving money on rent probably, and I'm saving money on weed.
It's like basically the same amount of rent that we were paying in Rochester to live in a shoebox to live in an entire house.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
The trade-off is that there's nothing around you, but the thing that's around you is free weed all the time.
Awesome.
So it's great. But yeah, like to get back to your original question, I mean, just the other day I took like a 100 milligram edible.
That's fucking insane.
But that's insane for me too, because typically I'm like a 10 max.
I would rather smoke crack. Like, honestly, I'd rather smoke crack.
I think after this experience, I would too. But like 10 is pushing it for me typically. And for some reason, I was just feeling brave, which is something that I never feel.
10 times braver.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I took this 100 milligram edible, and you know, I'm like an hour 20 into the experience, and I'm like, this shit is easy. I got this. And then, you know, cut 20 minutes later, I'm like on the couch, just holding myself. I'm like telling myself out loud, like, I'm okay. I'm okay. And then my girlfriend comes home and she's like, what is the matter with you? Like, she thought I was having a medical emergency. And I was like, I'm so fucking high right now. Like, this is crazy. We're trying to watch movies. Like, I put something on to relax me. And I mean, you know how it is when you're like insanely high, like time just doesn't
Yeah. Oh my God.
make sense anymore.
And the edible high.
Yeah.
Like,
it's psychedelic. It's a crazy experience. But we were watching like a stand-up special or something, and it was like the space in between the jokes just felt way too long.
I was literally about to say, there's a thing that happens to me, specifically edibles. Like when I smoke weed, I'm like laughy, very happy. When I do edibles, I like psychoanalyze the jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that was supposed to be a funny bit.
I
can't really.
I get like bummed. Like they'll tell a joke that's like at their own expense, and I'm like, why would they say that about themselves?
And it's something. I think at some point I went, wait, this isn't fun anymore, and I stopped. But I miss it because I see my friends on tour, and like they're like, if something stressful happens, or they're having like a bad fucking day, or there's a really long drive, or a day off, and nothing to do, and they just get really high, and I'm like, you know, like they're having so much fun. But I would be like, fucking anxious, like, I wonder if I've got athlete's foot. like weed. My main anxiety is like health anxiety comes out really fucking bad.
Yeah,
it's like insane.
I wish I should have that. Like I feel like it would be for my own benefit if I had any kind of anxiety about my health. But like I just like to ignore anything that's potentially wrong with me and just push it back until it becomes like a life-threatening issue.
I mean, I would love that rather than. I mean, I think I've gone full circle now with where I used to be really, really bad with health anxiety, and then. That's my dog. She has heart failure. Are you all right?
She's amazing.
Thanks. She's dying. She's literally dying. She has congestive heart failure.
How old is she?
Like 7. Pamela, come here.
Oh my God, she's big timing you.
Yeah, she is. I'd rather die than be with you. Fuck, I can't remember what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Professional.
You're talking about getting high and worrying about having an athlete's foot.
Okay, so like, I get health anxiety. It was really bad, but if I smoke weed, it gets worse. That's like the only thing that I'll fucking worry about. But then now I've gone so full circle. Like I thought I had OCD for a bit, and I literally my brain would have these intrusive thoughts where they'd be like, oh, if you don't do this, like your whole family's gonna die. Like classic OCD shit.
Sure. And
I got so annoyed with it that I was like, fuck this, I want my family to die if this. And then I did it, and it was like a light switch twitching. I'm talking about like when I was like fucking probably 17 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck it, everyone can die. I don't give a shit. And I did it, and no one died. And I went, oh, I'm cured. Yeah. And it never came back.
That's amazing.
But like with weed, my brain, I'm too in my own fucking head.
Sure.
And I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Mushrooms, though.
Yeah?
Love them.
Do you like acid, too?
I had one really bad acid time. I had so many good acid times, and I had one really bad one. Brought on by weed.
Yeah.
Where I did some acid, and then I smoked an 1/8 on the bong to myself.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That's like major league shit, dude.
It was fucking... And it went wrong immediately. It was like... you know the fucking Matrix. Yeah. You know the bit when he's getting grilled by the fucking by the agents for the first time,
and they take his mouth away. Yeah,
that was it. And it was like, and I was
that literally happened to you.
Yeah, and I was like, look, and honestly, because it must have been like triggered by the movie, because the grading of my life was that green of that scene, the same fucking like skin tones all green, everything all green, no mouth. I'm looking in the mirror. Apparently, because I was fucked up. Like I was biting my fingers to make sure I still had a mouth. It was fucking not good. So I've never done it since.
Damn. I know lots of people who have had like very transformative like spiritual experiences, like taking LSD and mushrooms and shit, but like. And I'm very envious of that, because for me, I've never had that. I've always just loved the sensation of like being fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's like been, it's very shallow to say, but like that's been priority number 1 for me as far as any drug goes. Like I've never entered a drug experience looking for like a transcendental experience. I'm always just like, I want to just giggle for 2 to 8 hours. Like that's what I want to feel. And my girlfriend is the exact opposite. Like she will only take mushrooms or LSD or whatever when she's like trying to like tap in with herself a little bit. And like a perfect example of this was last year. It was like last summer or something. We were both gifted like an 1/8 of mushrooms or something, and we split it. And she's like, we're lying in our bedroom, and she's looking at our curtains, which are kind of like mustard yellow, and she's like literally crying because she thinks they're so beautiful, like the way the sunlight is hitting them. She was like, oh my God, there's so much beauty in the world. This is incredible. And meanwhile, I'm looking at my phone and I'm crying because I'm reading a tweet where this guy said, if my dick was a gun, I would blow my brains out. Like, she looks over at me.
Fucking funny.
And she looks at me and she's like, are you seeing this shit too? And I'm like, yeah, oh my God, this is so funny.
My phone is the first thing that gets me on mushrooms because I'm like, oh, this isn't really kicking in yet.
And the words are like floating off the screen.
Suddenly it's like Mikey, our merch guy, is always like, is your phone 8K yet? Because apparently I'm like, bro, my phone is like 8K. And every time I forget, and I'm like, did everyone else get like a software update? Because it's just so clear.
Is everyone else's phone 3D now?
It's like fucking the most insane shit. But back on what you're saying, like mushrooms is the only one where I'll catch myself having some sort of anxious thought, and then the fucking mushroom teacher actually is just like, this is why you're doing this, and this is why it's happening, and stop thinking about that, and then it just goes away.
Yeah.
But like, have you ever done DMT?
Never.
This is fucking, I'm a real podcaster. Everyone on the podcast is like, we've heard your fucking DMT story, but you haven't, and that's why we're here. So, like you're saying, everyone that does DMT, oh, I saw God. I saw fucking... I had the most... I went back to childhood. I saw like the traumatic experiences. No. What happened? Some guy in Detroit gave us a cartridge with DMT in it.
Seems responsible.
And it was like, you know, the cartridges where you have to hit, the ones where you change the temperature.
Yeah.
So you needed one of those. So you get it on the highest temperature. You take 3 massive hits or whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking world rips back. Like everyone says, like fucking Tool album artwork.
Yeah.
But then... just as I start, because obviously it's so fucking fast. Everyone says it's like 15 minutes. It was like 5.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Simpsons hit and run N64 graphics. And the fucking, in a bandwagon, the two couches that face each other, the one in front of me is now the Simpsons couch. And my friends are...
sounds like my dream.
Are Simpsons N64 rendered Simpsons characters. And I'm just fucking maniacally laughing, screaming... it's like LSD and crack had a baby. And like our straight edge guitarist, Tom, is like in the fucking corner, like, what is fucking happening here? Before it, this band had gifted me like a flick knife.
And that's a great thing to have when you're tripping on DMT.
So before it, like Tom's first like experience of us knowing what we were about to do, I was like, Tom, can you do me a favor? Because I'm about to take the most potent hallucinogen on the planet.
Can you do me a favor?
Can you do me a favor? Hide the knife and don't let me know where it is because I don't know what's about to happen. And he's like, what's happening here?
He's like, I listened to Minor Threat once 15 years ago, and now I'm hiding knives from people who are tripping on DMT.
Would recommend though.
I would love to do it. I've heard great things. Yeah, I mean, like, I would love to try DMT at some point, but I don't know. I just, it's a little scary.
If you can do an edible, you can do DMT.
Okay,
I would
great.
do DMT 100 times in a row than take an edible.
But you know what? I did say that I like the scariness of being high like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So I have no excuse not to try it.
Yeah, definitely. I think like it was snowing when we did it, and it was just fucking crazy.
Do you like touring on a bandwagon? Is it sick?
I love it.
I want to do it so bad.
It's the best. We only started doing it last year.
Yeah.
It's the best fucking thing on planet Earth.
Yeah.
It's like you're with your friends. It's like a fucking vacation.
That's how I felt yesterday, getting off the, like, every tour I've ever done from, Undeath and every other band I've ever been in has been like, van, exclusively van. And like the bands I was in before Undeath, it was no trailer, like load all the shit into the back of the van. Everybody takes turns driving, that kind of thing. And then when we started doing Undeath, like, we bring along a TM/merch guy. We bring along a sound guy now too. And
Yeah.
like all that shit plus having the trailer, like that made me feel for a very long time like a fucking king. So I was like, this is amazing. Like, even though you're living in a van, you're sleeping on trash every night. I'm like, we have dedicated people to do this stuff now. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then today, like yesterday, getting in the van, getting the Sprinter sleeper, having like a driver and shit. I'm like, oh, like, this is so much better.
Oh, you're in a Sprinter sleeper?
Well, no, it's not a sleeper. It's got one bunk.
Oh, right.
But there's space for people to lie down and stuff. But
yeah, that's the problem is, and I'm how old are you?
I'm 28.
Right, I'm 35. So how long you been touring?
First tour I ever did I was probably 19, 18, something like that.
So I started touring 16, 17, same sort of age.
Yeah.
Once you get to the Bandwagon bus, you cannot go back. It just kills. It so bad. It kills something in you. Yeah. Like the van life is like disgusting.
Would you do it again? Like tour in a van?
I was going to quit Stray from the Path because we were going to do a tour in a van. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's getting old or it's post-pandemic, where I had 2 years of like fucking sitting on the couch and being really, really comfortable. And then someone's like, do you want to sit upright for upwards of 8 to 10 hours a day driving?
Just like experience natural light like an hour.
So, yeah, I'd still do it, but like the US getting rid of like green vans, getting rid of the ones with the benches. That's the minute where our band collectively, because you can sleep on those old green van. If anyone doesn't know, there was 11 seaters, 11-seater vans in the States that you could rent, but they were benches. They didn't have like armrests. So if you had a small enough crew, you could all have a bench and you could sleep.
Right.
But they got rid of that, and now they're like Sprinter Euro style, and you can't fucking sleep in them. So that's when us collectively were just like, well, let's just make less money and just tour in a bandwagon. And you know what? It was so much fun. I could smoke DMT.
Play with knives.
DMT. It's fucking genius. We should probably talk about your band. We've done 26 minutes
on
drugs and games.
Fuck that.
But this is perfect to me.
Let's talk about Undeath. What do you got to say?
We're going to go... Okay, so you... Pamela. It's interesting to me that Undeath is from upstate New York. Is Rochester count as upstate New York?
Yeah, I mean, so it's like people from upstate get so granular about where in upstate they're from. So like technically, yes, it is upstate.
Right.
But if you ask somebody from Rochester or Buffalo where they're from, they're going to say Western New York.
Okay.
And then to them, upstate is like Albany, more like capital region type stuff. And
where's Poughkeepsie?
That's like basically the city to people from actual upstate New York. Because Poughkeepsie you can still access on Metro North. That's like Hudson Valley area. That's not upstate. Upstate is like anything that's not accessible by a train that takes you directly to the city, like in 30 minutes. Technically, I would call that upstate. But Rochester, that's way up there. That's like pretty much, besides going all the way up north, like as far as you can get from the city and still be in New York, would be like Rochester and Buffalo. Okay, so I think it's interesting. I'm going to say, for the sake of people listening, because when I started coming to America, like fucking almost 10 years ago now, I thought New York was New York City. And I was like, wait, there's a whole state of shit. People from New York City still think that.
True. But I think it's super interesting that Undeath is from, quote unquote, upstate New York. Mm-hmm. And it sounds quite a lot like upstate New York death metal, Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation.
Yeah.
You ever thought about moving to Florida?
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, I mean, I've toyed with moving to 100 different places. Like I was going to move to Denver at one point.
But I mean, for the death metal, did you guys ever think to do the Cannibal Corpse thing?
We've joked about it 1,000 times. Like we pretty much like whenever we're getting into like the first actual steps of like writing for a new album, we always joke that this is going to be the one that we're going to go record it at Morristown.
You're going to fucking do it.
Tampa.
There's no way you're not going to do it. Because
I would live in Florida.
That's so funny, just even for the bit.
Yeah.
Like, is Morristown still going? I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think Scott Burns has produced a record in a long time.
Someone owns the console. I know that much. You could definitely get the old Morristown console somehow.
I mean, there is there are few things in this life that I love more than committing to a bit.
And that is full commitment.
So, like, if Undeath moved to Florida just for, like, the laughs, I would 1,000% do that.
Yeah, just for, like, even just 6 weeks to do the record. Yeah. But then, like, you do a whole bit out of it. You're just, like, fucking dressed like a bitchery. Like,
I mean, we're already kind of posers. Like, I don't want to just put my band on blast right now, but, like, I'm the only one that lived in Rochester for a very extended period of time. Like, Kyle, Matt, and Jared live there, but I mean, Jared's from Utica, Matt's from Virginia, Kyle's from Syracuse. They've all lived in Rochester for a while now, but I think I'm the only one in our band that has, like, you know, I went to high school in Rochester, like I lived there, my parents' house is there. So we claim Rochester, but 1 out of 5 of us are actually like.
It's the same with every band, though, isn't it? Like,
I mean, yeah, you guys claim Long Island.
At this point,
Scotland.
At this point, Stray is a Long Island, fucking, I guess, hardcore band. But we don't sound like a hardcore band. And 1 member lives on Long Island.
Which is it? Is it Tom?
Drew. It's Drew.
Okay.
So at least we got that. But Tom lives in Nashville. Nick lives in New Jersey. I live in Scotland, in the United Kingdom, and sound like this. Yeah, and then Drew's in Long Island.
Yeah, I mean, it still does piss me off when people are like, "Oh yeah, Cannibal Corpse from Florida." I'm like, no. Buffalo,
And
New York.
you can hear the difference with those 2 bands in particular. When you're just like,
yeah,
it's just it was a little bit more, other than like Death, a little bit more like technical at the time.
Yeah, like all those like seminal New York death metal bands like Cannibal and Suffocation, Internal Bleeding, Morpheus Ascends, like et cetera, they all have like a distinct through line that goes through all of their sounds. And like when you listen to an Internal Bleeding record and then you turn around and you listen to, I don't know, like Monstrosity or some shit that's like, you know, 100% dyed in the wool Florida death metal, they don't sound anything alike. Like,
yeah, it's weird. It's just like, it's almost like New York death metal sounds more clinical. And this is going to sound like a woo-woo bit that I'm doing, but hopefully you agree. New York death metal sounds more clinical. Even like the 90s fucking stuff was like metronomically tight. Like the first fucking Suffocation records, like 91 and 93. But they were still so fucking tight.
Yeah.
So like clinical, grey buildings, skyscrapers. And then Florida death metal was like swampy.
It feels like metal that was made by dudes who have like regular access to the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Cannibal Corpse, like the records that they wrote and recorded, or that they wrote in Buffalo, like the first 3 or 4, sound like records that you would make if you were living in Buffalo, New York. Like they sound like records that you would make if you looked outside and you saw like 6 feet of snow every day and it's gray and you haven't seen the sun in 8 months. Like they sound like that kind of music, but when you listen to, I don't know, like Scream Bloody Gore or something, like a classic Florida death metal record, it sounds like it's all about very macabre and morbid stuff, but you could tell that the people who were making it still had like some semblance of hope in their lives.
Like, oh, I've finished writing this song now about sacrifice on the altar. You want to go surf?
It's like there was still like the promise of a better tomorrow. But like when you're living in Buffalo, it's like, or like Western New York, it's like, this is it. Like there's really nothing to do but like start a death metal band.
While we're on the Cannibal Corpse thing, while we're on the Buffalo versus Florida Cannibal Corpse, without any kind of messing with future touring plans, are you Chris or are you Corpse Grinder?
I'm Corpse Grinder 1,000%.
Yeah, same.
I just like I've maintained that opinion even when it was very uncool to have that opinion back in the day.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you how many times I've had people tell me like, no, the first 4 Cannibal records are the only ones that matter. And don't get me wrong, like this is not even me trying to be diplomatic. Like I love those albums, like The Bleeding Tomb, all that shit. Like that's some of my favorite music ever. But like Kill, Evisceration Plague, Gallery of Suicide, Vile, those are like, to me, like Kill and None So Vile, the Cryptopsy record, are like the 2 best death metal albums ever made.
Yeah,
that's like the Old and the New Testament for me, pretty much. Like, and Corpse Grinder, he's the best who's ever done it. He just has the most like distinctive death metal voice ever. He's maintained like the same degree of power and sustain since he was like a kid. You know, even like the Monstrosity records he's on, like he sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like he's the best. Like he's the iconic, emblematic death metal frontman, and like I'm nothing like him. Like when I get on stage, like I can't stop smiling. Like I'm just having a good time. And Corpse Grinder's like a very threatening, like on stage, not when he's at Target.
Yeah,
but like,
that's the shit. My thing with like people are always like, because I love death metal.
Yeah,
love old death metal, love new death metal. New York, fucking Stray. I just said New York for the band Stray. Stray is like, you know, quote unquote a hardcore band, but it's like we don't sound like a hardcore band. We get lumped into the metalcore because I guess we have fucking metally bits. But like, I vehemently hate metalcore, right? other than like maybe fucking 5 bands who are like the pillars who essentially started it and are continuing to evolve it.
Well, now I'm curious. I mean, like what like metalcore bands do you give a pass to?
Oh, like fucking almost all of them. Literally almost all of them. Like I can't like I like Architects. I like fucking Bring Me an Horizon. I like the bands that were like doing it and then they changed. Like they did a fucking Radiohead and they changed a bit and I end up liking the newer stuff.
Yeah.
But the real reason I don't like metalcore, because people ask me like, well, how come you like? I like deathcore. How come you like deathcore? How come you like fucking death metal, but you don't like metalcore? And I'm going to tie us back to Corpse Grinder, because metalcore lyrically and stylistically takes itself so fucking seriously, while what you're doing is like screaming into a microphone and it's like about fucking relationships and about like shit like that. And it's not silly.
Yeah.
But death metal is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is dumb. You're on stage just fucking screaming.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. And it's impossible to be sincere in death metal, really, because you are like, oh, fucking the corpses. Like, fuck me up. But like metalcore, it's not even the sing. Like, as I like bands with singing, it's not even the singing. It's the fucking. This song is about like. I'm sorry it happened to you, but this song is about this moment in my life. It's like, it's so dumb.
That's an interesting point that you make about like it being impossible to be sincere, because I feel like I try to ride that line all the time, like every time that we play, because I mean, since the moment that like Undeath started doing interviews and shit like that, like one of the things that just comes up over and over and over again is people they ask us like, you guys just seem like you're having so much fun on stage. Like you guys seem like a fun band, like all that stuff. Like fun is just like the operative word that comes up over and over again. And like I struggled with that for a little bit, because it kind of felt like they were like making fun of us a little bit. They were like, oh, you guys just like, this seems like a big joke to you. Like we're glad you're having fun, you know? But then I realized, like I watched more footage of us. I watched like our sets and shit on YouTube, and it's like, we just can't help ourselves. Like we're truly being sincere. You know, I can't and I admire people that can get on stage and put on a persona and like actually try to convince the audience that they are like a serial killer or whatever. Like I think that's a very unique skill set, and I admire people who have the capacity to do that. I don't have that.
Yeah.
Like I can, the only thing that I can do and that I can do confidently is be myself. And when I get on stage and I try to do anything else, it just comes off as performative. But I feel like when I'm on stage and I'm just like smiling and laughing and like telling people to jump off the stage and shit, and like just treating the whole thing like a big party or a circus or whatever, like that's what resonates the most. So,
yeah.
And like anytime I've tried to do something else, I've looked at it and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's what I like about fucking Corpse Grinder, because he's like, obviously on stage he's doing his fucking Cannibal Corpse thing, but his fucking Instagram and shit like that is just hilarious. This is a fucking silly dude.
Yeah.
So when he writes silly fucking lyrics, and I'm like, okay, like I can get on board with this. Like,
I mean, bro, like the first song on the most recent Undeath album, I'm literally spelling in it.
The fucking. Oh, I was about to hit you with a lyric. When it's like T-E-A-R. Like,
yeah, it's death metal hooked on phonics.
It's so fucking sick.
Like, I don't understand how you could listen to that and think that we're trying to be anything else than just like a band that you can have fun listening to.
Is that Fiend for Corpses?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking, like, I love the record.
Thank you.
like, again, what it sounds like to me, sorry, we actually have to do some fucking form of press. If anyone's listening, like, well, who is this fucking band? Why am I going to check it out? What it sounds like to me, how I sold it to Josh from Architects, actually. Josh plays in Silosis as well.
Oh, cool.
Huge fucking, like, huge old school death metal fan. Has, like, the old Cannibal Corpse box sets on tape. Like, cassette tape. The one where it has, like, that whole artwork and shit. He's, like, big into it. And I told him the other day, I was like, have you checked out Undeath? And he was like, no, what's it like? And I sold it to him by saying, it's like the first few Cannibal Corpse albums, but if Frank from Suffocation was doing the vocals. That was how I sold it to him in terms of like ways I knew it would get him to listen to it. I know it's not strictly, but it's like, you got the fucking, it drops out and the bass goes, like, that's fucking old Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
But, more, it's not even, more later Frank from Suffocation style vocals.
Yeah.
You take offense in that?
No, I was gonna say, like, comparing any death metal vocalist to Frank from Suffocation is like the highest compliment you can receive next to being compared to Corpse Grinder. So thank you for honoring me with that.
It sounds like it, because the first few Cannibal Corpse albums, like, the only thing I don't like is the vocals.
Yeah.
I get it. It was a moment in time. It was fucking Ace Ventura that made me then fucking check out death metal.
Right.
But musically, it's there for me. But it wasn't really until, like, Vile, that sort of era, I was like, oh, wait, it's all good now.
Yeah. Yeah, the way that I kind of think about our band is, like, it's as if old Cannibal Corpse had access to Necrophagist records.
Yeah, nice.
Because, like, that's the kind of shit that I feel like that goes overlooked with us all the time. It's like me and Kyle and Jared and Matt especially, like, we love that kind of, like, early tech death shit. Like,
yeah, there's some time signatures on the latest record. I noticed them.
It gets goofy. Like, we do some, like, truly, like, wanky shit on our albums, and it's like we love the old school stuff. That's, like, our bread and butter 100%, but we, like, Necrophage, just, like, Stab Wound is, like, that's everything.
It was my fucking... when phones, like, just hit, you were able to have a song as a ringtone? Like, I had this old Nokia, like, this big, and Stab Wound was my ringtone. It would annoy the fuck out of everyone. Damn it. I want to take a minute right here to thank the newest sponsor of the Downbeat, Athletic Greens. AG1 by Athletic Greens is a foundational nutrition drink containing 75 concentrated superfoods, antioxidants, and stress adaptogen extracts. Regular listeners know I've got a pretty ridiculous supplement routine. I take a multivitamin, vitamin. I take extra vitamin D3, vitamin D3. I take ashwagandha for stress. I take mushroom extracts. I take methylated B vitamins, which your body absorbs better. And I take all of these in separate little pills, hundreds of pills. The amount of times I've been stopped at the border and people just look in the bag and they go, well, what's in all these pills, mate? And there's no labels because I'm trying to combine them into one thing. AG1 by Athletic Greens combines all of those things into one scoop. The first time I took AG1, I forgot that I hadn't had a coffee because I was so energized. It got to about 3 o'clock and I was like, wait, I haven't had a coffee. So I've actually taken one coffee out of my morning ritual, replaced it with 1 scoop of AG1 with 250 milliliters of water. To be honest, if you're doing it first thing, means I can sort of eat fun for the rest of the day, and I know AG1's got my back with my nutritional needs. I've also been getting the travel packs, which have been an insane lifesaver on tour. You just open them, pour it in, bottle of water, away you go. And I don't know if it's related, but that last tour we did, I was playing the best I've played, and there was a bus flu going around, and I think because of the immune boost, I didn't get it. If you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens are giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/thedownbeat. That's athleticgreens.com/thedownbeat and check it out. I toured with Necrophagist in 2006.
Was it sick?
It was fucking unbelievable.
I'm so jealous.
But like... Mohammed was a fucking, I mean, I might butcher this story, and I don't know if the story's out, but I don't give a fuck. He was like, he had to lie to his parents that he was on that tour.
For real?
He was an engineer at like Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
And they didn't want him having anything to do with death metal or anything like that. And he said he was on a business trip and he was touring the UK, being in fucking necrophagist. And man, it was the craziest thing. I've talked about this a lot on the podcast before, but it was Hans Grossman on drums, fucking Mohammed, the bassist, I can't remember his fucking name, but he's incredible. In fact, I saw him.
The name that just popped in my head is Stefan Lassard, who's the bassist of Dave Matthews Band, and I don't think that's it.
Let's go with him. Yeah. But like they flew in, much like what you did today, and the drummer didn't have his pedals, and you know what fucking necrophagist stuff is like.
Yeah.
And he borrowed my fucking janky ass fucking pedals, and then just ripped this set. And I was like, it was that moment where in my head I was like, okay. Like, cause at that time I was like a proper gearhead. I was like, oh, when I upgrade my pedals, I'll get really good. And at that moment I was like, oh no, it's just his feet. But they were so fucking good. Same fucking time they did that tour with us. Tiny little tour. I think I was just teching on that tour. I don't even think I was in. It was a band that I later joined. But on that same run they went and they did it. It was like fucking Origin, Necrophagist, someone else. It was just fucking amazing.
Yeah, like Epitaph that's one of my favorites. And that was like a very early bonding record for Undeath was Epitaph. And it was like that record and the Cannibal song 5 Nails Through the Neck. That was like we want to do a band that sounds like this, you know? And it's always like the tricky thing is just trying to find that delicate balance between like the stompy New York death metal, like old school shit, and then adding like the proggy, like tech death kind of like flair to it. I feel like that's kind of where the Undeath sound like crystallizes, is somewhere in between those two worlds.
Yeah, and I think that's why when I heard it, I was like, I mean, because there is a big fucking death metal revival happening, like old school death metal, and I love it. But Undeath's probably the one for me, which is like, oh, I fucking get this. Cool. It's the same thing happened when, and there was a lot of bands that came out of it that I liked, but like in the, I guess, mid 2010s, early 2010s, when, and this is going to bring me to a question that I actually had, but when hardcore kids found out about the HM2 pedal, and then there was a million bands that sounded like Entombed, and some of them were really, really fucking sick.
Sure.
But there was a lot that was just like, oh, we just put this pedal on and it just fucking makes us Entombed. It was like, well, no, not really.
Did you fuck with like Trap Them?
Yeah, Trap Them, like Black Breath, like shit like that. Where the fuck did Black Breath go?
Unfortunately, I think somebody in the band died. And then, but it was already kind of like after they had broken up or like kind of stopped being a band. But I think that was kind of like the thing that solidified that they weren't getting back together.
Right. But then,
I could be completely wrong about that, but
it's fine. It's fact now. They like there was that whole thing and I loved it, but a lot of it missed me. And a lot of it, in my opinion at the time, was like people they wanted to listen to Entombed, but they didn't really. They wanted to wear an Entombed shirt, but they didn't really like Entombed. And I'm not being a fucking gatekeeper there. I just mean
I understand.
You could tell from listening to it. It was like, well, you don't really. You don't. You've just put the pedal on and done a fucking song.
Yeah.
Whereas with you guys, with the death metal thing that's happening at the moment, there's a couple of bands where I listen to it and I'm like. In fact, not even the ones that are coming up right now that are blowing up now. Are you guys saying Whisker Bog or like fucking Blood Incantation? I get it. The ones that were maybe like 2 or 3 years ago with a Morbid Angel logo and just like the most sludgy production ever was just like, you got the aesthetic, but musically I can tell that you don't actually fuck with that stuff.
Yeah, the thing that has been difficult for me, like, I don't know, when it comes to metal, I tend to operate in extremes, which is a very funny word to use here, but like, I like metal that's either extremely fast or extremely slow.
Nice.
So it's like, when I think about the death metal that I like, the stuff that I listen to all the time, it's like the really fast, really technical shit. I don't really go for like plotting mid-pace stuff that's just kind of like breakdown after breakdown after breakdown.
Yeah.
Like I completely see and understand the appeal of it, but like I like bands that play riffs fast. That's the big thing for me. Like I was big into like screamo and grindcore and shit growing up, so like I don't even care if it's sloppy. Like I just want bands to go fast. Like my little like pea brain. That's just what I need.
I feel like Necrophagus was the one when they came out. It was just leagues above everything else.
Sure. I mean, fucking like Stab Wound into what's the next song on Epitaph?
Diminished to Be?
I think it's Diminished to Be. Like that transition just from like the blistering speed of Stab Wound and how crazy it is to like just that.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking listen to that record later today.
I'm gonna listen to it on the walk back to the house.
I haven't thought about Necrophagus in a fucking hot minute. It's one of the biggest I would have put it. I'm a massive Tool fan, but I would have put it like above Tool in terms of like I would have loved the new album.
I'm the Tool apologist in our band.
Oh, sick!
Yeah.
Welcome.
Is it sick?
Welcome.
I feel like we're kind of like a subspecies at this point.
I got to show you this then. I had so I was very lucky enough to do Late Night with Seth Meyers recently in the States.
Very cool.
And they all knew I was a huge Tool fan, and this week Danny Carey did it. And the MD sent me that photo, which is, if anyone's not watching the YouTube, it's Danny Carey holding like a really smoldering photo of me that like Lloyd Bishop, the photographer, was like, just put your hand there. I was like, I would never do this in real life. He was like, it's going to look sick. Looks great. Look like a fucking model. But it's Danny Carey just holding a photo of me. That's like Lifebox ticked.
That's amazing.
Okay, so this was going to bring me to my question that I had. I haven't even looked at my notes. I'm having a great time. Are you?
Yeah.
Cool. Can I get you anything? We good?
I'm all set, dude.
Cool. I haven't even looked at my notes, and my questions are just fresh in my head because I actually care. People listening to the podcast be like, "Oh, this is what it sounds like when he cares about the guest." Interesting. So, what's the background of the band? Is it in hardcore? Or has it always been metal? Members wise,
I think the closest thing that Undeath has to like hardcore kids would be me and our bass player Tommy. But even that, it's a stretch. Like I grew up going to hardcore shows, but I also went to like just as many metal shows. I like have tons of friends in like the Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse hardcore scene, but like I was never in hardcore bands.
Yeah.
I always just kind of like liked the music. Tommy, he like booked bands. You know, and he was in kind of like hardcore adjacent bands, but that's about as far as it goes with us with the hardcore association. Like Kyle is a dyed-in-the-wool metal guy.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you'd have to be.
You look at him.
And to pull it off, like
when you see him, like you'll understand. Like this is a metal guy through and through. And Jared is kind of like, he comes from more of like the indie rock world, I think, but he also still is like metal first. That's like his extreme music genre of choice. And Matt's the same way too. So it's funny when older like metal purists kind of give us the like, oh, they're just hardcore kids playing death metal, like dismissal.
That's what I'm trying to put my finger on.
Because it's like, that's just factually incorrect.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to put my finger on, because it's like, and what it is, to circle back to what we were just talking about, is like hardcore kids adopted in the 2010s. They adopted the fucking Entombed thing, and it seems to be that they're adopting the death metal thing now, which is cool. I like it because I fucking love hardcore and I love death metal. But because you guys actually are metal, I think that's why I resonate with the music much more, because I'm like, oh, that's like, I get it. Yeah. It's not a cosplay.
Sure.
I'm not saying that everyone's fucking cosplaying and it's cool, but I remember saying back in the day, like 10 years ago, I think I have the tweet because I'm just waiting for it. I'm like, in the near future, sorry.
Not so distant future.
Professional broadcaster. In the not so distant future, the next hardcore bands are going to sound like Nile, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty fucking close. It still hasn't come yet. The Nile one hasn't come.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like, and this is no diss, but it's just the way that I kind of view things. Like, you can tell when you listen to a death metal, like a new band that's marketing themselves as a death metal band. Like, you can tell in the first 20 seconds of the song if they are all like 100% hardcore kids.
Yeah.
because like there's great things about the hardcore ethos that you can bring into making metal, just like the DIY aspect of it, like the networking aspect of it. It sounds like such a cold clinical way to talk about hardcore, but like it teaches you a lot of like really good people skills, like growing up in those scenes. But like musically, like if I listen to a band that's like, oh, we're a new death metal band, and the first it's like feedback and then it goes right into a breakdown. I'm like, I see where your priorities are.
Yeah.
It's like it's about you want to get to the jump the fuck up part like as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But it's like you can also tell when people are just like metal guys and metal people 100% through and through.
Yeah. And sometimes like for me, because it's the same way I fucking love deathcore, and everyone's like, why the fuck do you? And I'm like, it's fucking sick breakdowns, it's really fucking fast, everyone's fucking doing crazy lyrics. But like I don't mind it. But with the death metal hardcore revival thing that's happening now, but because I like it when a death metal song has a breakdown, like I like deathcore or whatever. But yeah, when it's really easy to spot the like insincere one. So they've just gone, well, here's a spiky logo, and then here's the Ride of the Lightning riff, but then we'll do a blast beat after it. Like, okay, I'm still in, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your band more. We can do it a little bit. We don't even look. We're actually fucking.
Damn.
We barely have to talk about your band.
Let's speed run it, dude.
At this point, no one cares. At this point, you're in. You've got new fans.
I have nothing to do today besides play a show in I don't know 9 hours.
Can I come to the show?
Yes.
Fuck
You're on the list.
Fuck yeah.
He's on the list.
I have a +1.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's got a +1 too.
Fuck yeah. Big dick shit. I've never been to the venue.
Me either.
We established that within fucking 10 minutes. But it's right in the city center, so if you need
I'm having a great time, dude. I'll stay here all day.
Cool.
We can do a 10-hour podcast.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Right. So what I wanted to get onto is I've covered hardcore kids. ! I got roasted. Somebody read my notes from that camera on a different podcast, and we're like, bro has 2 notes. It was like, yeah, because I had enough in my fucking head. Silliness, ? Done that one.
Love it. Love being silly.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to get onto. And this is going to sound super pressy, and I fucking hate it, but I want to know, rather than me being fucking Billy's blog. Like, so when you were writing, where'd you get your influences from for the lyrics?
I don't write the lyrics. That's the craziest part.
I was going to ask that question first, and then I just assumed.
I do almost nothing in our band besides like sing Kyle's words.
That's the fucking dream.
It's amazing.
Oh, so Kyle's the fucking...
He's the primary lyricist. We have a song on the new album that is kind of like 80% Tommy. It's like Tommy's song. We always call it at practice. It's the song Bone Rot. And he and I like collaborated on lyrics for that one. He had most of them ready, and we just kind of tweaked it together. But yeah, Kyle is the mastermind behind most everything musically that we've put out so far. And I love it. Like people kind of, when I tell them that I don't write any of the lyrics, sometimes they ask me if I wish that I did. And no.
This is the thing. I'm going to look at this camera for this. Almost every band that you like with a charismatic vocalist, someone else is writing their lyrics.
I mean, Cannibal Corpse.
Honestly, I can't think of, like, Stray, we write collectively, and there will be entire songs that Drew didn't write on. There'll be entire. I wrote fucking entire songs. Like we do it collectively. Like Architects was Tom, and now is all Dan. Like it doesn't fucking matter.
In all the bands that I was in before Undeath, like in all the bands that I sang in, like I took such pains to write what I thought were like good lyrics, and it was exhausting. And I tried to make everything as like deep and meaningful and sincere as possible. Like I was in a band right before Undeath called Druce, and that was like, screamo, very like hard on sleeve type shit. And I was really trying to like go all out and put like all of myself into these lyrics. And when that band broke up, I kind of had like a conversation with myself, and I was like, I never want to do that again.
Yep.
Because there's just something so taxing about it. And I just like getting up on stage and like screaming very like intensely personal things to a room full of strangers. You think it might be sick, but when you do it like dozens and dozens and dozens of times in a row, maybe most people don't have this experience, but for me, it was like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I giving so much of myself to these people that like literally have no stake in my life whatsoever? Yeah. Besides, like, that they're at a show that I'm playing that they don't really want to be at, because they're here to see another band. So, like, when Undeath started, and they asked me to join the band, and I wanted to like seem professional. I wanted to seem prepared. So they sent me the instrumental tracks for what eventually was going to be our first demo. And I came with lyrics. I spent like a day or two before the first practice with them, kind of like jotting down ideas and like lyrical structures and stuff like that. And I was really nervous about it because I had never really written like metal lyrics before. So I was trying to be like gory and gross while also maintaining like the more kind of like, I hesitate to say spiritual, but the more like personal side of like my last band's lyrics. And I brought them to the practice, and I was so like coy about it. I was like, well, here's my lyrics, guys. And Kyle was like, oh, I already have everything.
That's the dream.
And it was like this weight just got lifted. And I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about this shit anymore. Like, my lyrical contributions to Undeath to this day are like, I add swear words.
Nice.
That's it. Like, there's songs where Kyle's like, okay, so the lyrics are like, blah, blah, blah. I'm crushing the skull. And I'm like, what if it was crushing the fucking skull?
And the answer is yes.
And then he's like, oh, that would be sick. Like, on this new song that we're playing tonight, it's called Brandish the Blade. And there's like, a
new song not on a record, not released.
Not released. It's going to be on our next album. But there's like a line right before what is like literally a breakdown. It's like the closest thing that Undeath has had to like a full-on just breakdown, which is hilarious. But it's like, now I am brandishing the blade. And I was like, dude, it's got to be brandishing the fucking blade.
Wait, you're so right as well. Because that'll be the biggest part of the set.
Yeah. And like,
it's so insane. You put a swear word before a heavy section, it awakens something.
It's like chocolate and peanut butter.
It fucking is. It literally is.
And like when the instruments drop out and the front man says a bad word, it's like, dude, it's like crack.
Yeah, it's like crack and acid. What was I going to say? Just while debatable band, debatable politics, and I believe you came up with some insane ideas. Do you know the Pestilence album that starts? It's something macabre. It literally starts. It's a counting with just growls. It's fucking incredible, and I'm
posing hard right now. I mean, the Pestilence shit that I'm familiar with is like Testimony of the Ancients.
Yeah, like the old shit.
Yeah, like Spheres.
This was the first record back. Maybe why you didn't check it out, because I'm like that. I'm just like, I'm not fucking. Are you coming back? Listen to Resurrection Macabre. Like, the guy is fucking. I can't remember what he said recently, but it was like some Ebonic shit, like really not great shit. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. But for an intro, I'm gonna put it here so we can fucking listen to this. Start of the record.
That's the hardest shit I've ever heard in my whole life.
So fucking sick.
That reminds me of that Disgorge record, Cranial Impalement.
Oh yeah.
It literally just starts with like isolated gurgling vocals for 11 seconds and nothing else, and then there's like a really fast count.
Did you ever think of because okay, again, fuck me, I'm nailing this. Where did you record It's Time?
We recorded,
I must say It's Time at the beginning every time. I love
it. We recorded it in Philly with this dude Scoops. His name is Scoops Dardaris. He's the fucking man. He works at a studio. Well, at the time, he was recording out of a studio called The Headroom in Philly, which I believe doesn't really have much of like a metal connection. It's owned, I want to say, by the guitarist in that band Hop Along, if you're familiar with that band.
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't know.
It's like Saddle Creek Records, like indie type shit. And so there's like, it's not a metal studio, and Scoops isn't like a metal producer, which is kind of like why we wanted to do it there, because it would just give it like a different sound. And Yeah, it was cool.
Ironically, would be the sound of the old metal albums because
it kind of like accidentally arrived there, which is the funniest thing. Like we were, I don't want to say like we were actively trying to do anything different, but we had all these ideas that retroactively I looked at them and I was like, oh, this is just the way that people did shit 30 years ago.
Yeah,
you know?
they were trying to get the best possible sound because they couldn't just stick samples
Exactly.
on, and then it accidentally,
So we rolled up and we were like, we're going to record all the guitars live together, like in the control room, or not in the control room, like in the live room. Like Jared and Kyle are going to sit across from each other, and like that's how we're going to record guitars. And I was like, no one's ever done this before.
Oh my God, it's so unique.
And then I went back and I listened to like Pierce from Within, and I was like, oh, like this is just how they did it.
Ah, that's fucking cool. So, which is getting me onto the fucking. Fuck! Now I fucked it. I've lost it. I've lost where my train of thought was. I'm gonna have to look at my notes. I try and do this without the notes. I hate it. Damn, I hate doing this.
We're stalling.
No, it's fine.
I'm gonna stall for time right now. I'm gonna look at the camera.
No, yeah, just stare that fucking camera out. Fuck! What the fuck were we talking about? I ruined it. The podcast is over.
What did you have in your notes?
The thing that started this conversation, but not the end of this conversation, about the sound of the fucking record.
Yeah.
Where were we before there? Because I had an incredible turnaround about to happen.
I don't remember.
It doesn't fucking matter. If you're listening, I'm really sorry. I live in the space of like the last 10 minutes.
Me too.
All fucking. It might come back to me and then I'll scream. And then,
cool.
Oh wait, we were on.
We're talking about
Pestilence. We were on the vocal thing.
Yep.
Discord. Boom. Did you ever think about, or did the band ever think about? I'm glad you didn't do it. Doing the fucking Discord snare sound, or like the fucking horrible.
No, like the pingy snare.
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
Fuck no.
I made it back to what I was thinking of. Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
That was great. No, and we never will. You know, it's
I'm
like
so glad.
I like plenty of bands who have that snare sound, and I think it works for them. It doesn't work for us. And actually, like, we're trying to move further in the other direction. Like, we've been listening to so much like South of Heaven and Rain and Blood recently, and like Lombardo has such like a thick, thick, veiny snare sound.
Yeah.
And like we're trying to get there. Like we want the snare to sound huge and like in thick.
But again, what I like about the Undeath production, which is why, yes, I got back here, which is why I asked about the studio, is that, again, with the, I'm going to call them this and I don't mean it, and there's no particular bands I'm thinking of in general, the posery death metal bands who are trying to do the old school sound, they've just slapped so much reverb on the snare and gone, oh, that sounds like Leprosy. But it's not the sound. The drum isn't tuned like that. It's just like, oh, we'll just stick fucking reverb on the snare. We've got a spiky logo. Let's go.
We've had people in our comments asking us, like, is the snare going to be pingier on the next record? Like,
no way.
No, yeah. And it's just because, like, that's what people want and, like, expect right now.
People still want that in general. But are you ever going to tune your snare higher on the next Stray record? And that just makes me do the opposite. Yeah. Again, the same thing. I'm like, well, actually, no.
That's kind of like, we try not to be like contrarian about shit, but that is definitely one thing where like we've heard it enough times that we're like, we're going to give you the opposite.
It's going to be
snare.
Fucking, I'm in. I'm fucking up for it. Okay, so I actually do need to speed up on this because the next sort of 2 sections is going to be long. Okay. The Undeath logo is fucking unbelievable.
Thank you.
I love it so much. I want to know, like, whose idea it was, who drew it, and then we're gonna have just a little. It sounds like it'd be a big bit, but I want to do a discussion on who has the best logos of all time.
Sure. The logo was drawn by Matt, our drummer. Actually,
nice, keeping it DIY.
He does all of our cover art, and he does.
No fucking way.
Yeah, he's like our in-house art guy, pretty much. He doesn't do like merch designs or anything like that, but
wait. He did the
painting on the cover, yeah, and he did the cover for the last album too.
Yo, the fucking. Do you guys go through Overcast merch in the States?
No, we do a Downright.
Is it Downright?
Yeah.
The shorts, the all over print shit that you did was so fucking sick.
We like that shit is just hilarious to me.
It's amazing. Like I'd never wear it, but I saw it. I mean, I'd wear the shorts, I reckon, but like
the hoodies, the all over print hoodies. I was like, is anybody gonna buy these?
I mean, I bet they fucking sold. But.
We saw a couple of them, but it's just like it's such a high ask for a merch item, I think. But yeah, Matt, he does all of our art, like all the art that's like on the inserts and shit of our art. It's like that's all him. He did our logo. The logo kind of went through a couple different stages. On our first demo, you can see that we're using a completely different logo. It's kind of like a pyramid shape type thing, and then you could read it. Yeah, I remember the logo. You could still kind of read it. And then I remember one day Matt just like messaged the group chat like really early on, and he was like, "I think I'm gonna revamp the logo." We were like, "All right."
We revamped it,
and he just sent that like 3 days later. We were like, "Yep, that's it."
It's unbelievable. It's what I like about it is it's like this is some merchandise of mine, right? But it's like it's super easy to make like the black metal style unreadable logo. Yeah. Like everyone's done it. Let's make it as and even like blood incantation and stuff like that. It's kind of black metal style unreadable. But yours is like if the guy who designed the Death logo was like, I don't want to be able to read this, and just fucking drew insane shit. You can read it if you look.
It's like the bane of screen printers everywhere. Like,
is it tough?
It's tough, and it was like,
I want to pull it up. So
Holy Mountain, Night Shift, and Downright were like the first people to actually like be able to print it, which is great. But everybody else, like for the longest time, when we were first like printing merch ourselves and shit, like we would send it to printers and they would invert the logo because it was the only way they could get it to like look decent.
Yeah, because it's like black and gray.
Yeah, and there's like stippling and shit like all over.
Pen, yeah. Oh, it's so fucking cool though. It's just a block of fucking human remains.
Let me see it. Let me look at our logo. Yeah, it's fucking sick.
It's so sick. It's so fucking sick. So, have you got? This is annoying, and I'm sorry that I didn't give you any like notice because we're about to do a Dream Festival segment. I don't know if you know that's a part of the end of the podcast. It's most people's favorite part of the podcast. I will talk you through it. That's what I tend to not tell people because it's funner to go through it.
Yeah.
And especially as a new band, a band that has admittedly not been doing like bus tours and stuff, it would be fun to see what your outlook on what a Dream Festival would look like. But I want to, in honor of the Undeath logo being so fucking good, top 5 death metal logos of all time.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough to like stagger it between old bands and new bands.
You don't have to order it. You can just chuck a few new, chuck a few old.
The original Cannibal Corpse logo is iconic. I mean, that's got to be on there just for like out of pure respect.
Man, I had the best Hammer Smash Face shirt with the old logo and the fucking eye and that. Lost it.
They've been reprinting a lot of like their classic designs recently.
Really?
Yeah, they did like a white Hammer Smash Face.
That was the one I had.
Yeah, they just did like a bunch more of them, I think.
Oh, sick.
That logo's got to be on there. I think the Cryptopsy logo is amazing. And then new bands. I think there's a band from the Pacific Northwest. Like I forget if they're Washington or Oregon, but they're a band called Triumvir Foul. It's like blackened death metal type stuff with like a little bit of war metal influence.
How do I spell this?
TRIUM, I think, VIR space foul. And their logo is fucking crazy.
I'm pulling it up. Oh, wow, that's fucking sick.
I just think it's dope because it's got like a curve to it. Yeah, it's awesome.
I love metal so much.
Me too. It's the best.
It's so sick.
I like get so fucking pumped every time I see that logo anywhere.
I'm gonna check that. But see, it's the kid in me. I'm checking that band out because of the logo. I'm fucking checking them out.
That's the thing too, is people like they're like, oh, I can't read that shit. Like, but it's not about being able to read it. It's about pattern recognition. You know, it's just like you have to access a different hemisphere of your brain.
Yeah.
Like, and again, like I think entry number 4 on this list is going to be Blood Incantation because I think their logo is amazing.
It's fucking sick.
And then you can't read it for shit. Like you can maybe make out the B and the L and like maybe the N at the end, but like it's just it's a jumbled mess.
Yeah.
But when you see that logo enough times, places, and you associate it with Blood Incantation, like it doesn't matter if you can read it or not. Like it's just about seeing it and knowing that that's the band.
Yeah.
And I feel like people really grapple with that. So.
Even like the art for Hidden Hands as well, like the fucking alien, and
it's amazing. The fucking, what is it, interdimensional extinction or interplanetary extinction, the first EP, it's got like Saturn, but the rings are all skulls.
It's so sick. And it's like the painted style's fucking amazing.
Yeah. So their logo's on there for sure. I think
band fucking rules as well.
Amazing.
I love that band.
And that tour that just announced yesterday, it's like Obituary headlining, Immolation, Blood Incantation, and Ingrown. It's like,
fuck yeah.
That dude Taylor from, he was in Nails and God's Hate, all those bands. He just said that tour's going to be like Battle of the Camo Hats.
Yeah, the camo hat with an orange print.
Yeah, we're selling those tonight.
Are you actually?
Yeah, we are.
Sick. Okay,
you have to as a death metal band. I feel like you're contractually obligated to. So yeah, Triumph or Foul, Blood Incantation, they're on there for sure. Original Cannibal logo, Cryptopsy, that's 4. Number 5, that's really tough. I mean, I love the OG Death logo. That's got like the cobweb and the Reaper skull on it and shit. I think it's a cool ass logo.
The first set of Downbeat merch was a rip of that.
It's it's iconic.
But then I got wind that the manager was like, someone made a skateboard with a similar rip, and the manager like sued him.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, I'm going to stop doing this. And not only did I stop doing it, I gave, it was like first run of shirts, I gave all that money to 2 charities, just in case someone came for me. Then I could make a really public post and go, oh, sorry, do you want, and it was like fucking kids with cancer and kids that lived in a dump in Africa. And I gave money to both of those charities so that if something came up, I could go, really publicly. And go, it's fine. I can get it back. Do you want it back from the kids that live in a dump in Africa, or do you want it back from the kids with cancer? It'd probably have to come from their parents.
The puppies with leukemia.
Yeah, like
charity.
And then I stopped it.
I'll probably go OG Death logo there, but also, I guess like as an honorable mention, there's a band called Rude, and I just think they have a sick logo. It's kind of like, it's just really, I'm going to use that word thick again. For some reason, I'm fixated on thick right now.
Nice. I like it.
They just have a dope logo. I'm pretty sure it has an upside down cross in it, which can't go wrong.
Good upside down cross in a logo.
Tasteful.
Possessed.
Yeah. Oh, great logo.
Great logo.
Yeah. I'm not even like...
better than the band.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
That fucking happens. That happens quite a lot.
I'm not a possessed head, but I'm a Primus head.
I'm the Primus apologist in my band.
What? I mean, they're the best.
So sick.
Dude, so many metal bands wish they could even sniff a song as fucking heavy as Too Many Puppies.
Too Many Puppies? No Too Many Puppies? No Blind.
Yeah.
Like,
that's fact.
That's a fucking fact. Oh, I'm so glad you're a Primus guy.
I love like Primus, Tool, like all the shit that like can get you laughed out of a room by like metal elitist people. Like that's my whole world. Like I love that
fucking
stuff.
Like Welcome to This World, the riff in Welcome to This World, Primus. Dum, 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 dum. It's fucking heavy.
Fucking My Name Is Mud. That's a terrifying song.
So sick. Terrifying video as well.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're a Primus guy. Let me try and fucking ask one more question about your band. No, I don't want to. The last thing I had was logos, and then we're going to do we're already late for the festival. We should have started the festival 17 minutes ago.
We were talking about cool logos.
Cool shit.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Let me try and think of one other really cool logo I haven't mentioned.
I know, I'm like racking my brain. I mean, Bestial Putrefaction, their logo is fucking crazy.
I mean, that's fucking... That's part of my... I fucking love it. I got a couple of good ones. I mean, I love black metal as well, so I get into the Leviathan logo.
Amazing.
Is up there.
Zaster
as well. All the one men bands.
I think the OG Satyricon logo is great.
Yeah.
I mean, black metal, that's a whole different...
Wolves in the Throne Room.
Amazing logo.
Amazing fucking band. I had Aaron on the podcast before. Not in person, but like...
Yeah.
And because I'd heard all the rumors like that they lived in the fucking woods and all this shit, and then I asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, I live in a log cabin," but and I was like, "Oh, so it's true?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then we get talking for a while, and then we start talking about magic, and I'm quite big into like that kind of shit as well. Mm-hmm. Not as much as him apparently, because when we're talking, and he's like, every morning after I do my my ritual in the morning and my gratitude ritual. And, I'll give an offering of salmon to Mother Earth. And I went, I'm sorry, what? And he was like, I'll give an offering of salmon to Mother Earth, Mother Cedar Tree. And I was like, sorry, can you explain that? And he was like...
It's so good to hear.
He will go and give a whole salmon to a particular cedar tree that's near where he lives, where the studio is. And it's an offering to the earth. And I was like, at that moment, I was like, I loved your band already, but like knowing... Again, the sincerity in the lyrics, I either need you fucking mean this or you're being wacky. Yeah. Death metal falls into wacky, but black metal kind of falls into you fucking mean this.
Yeah.
Whether it's racist or magic-y, it depends, but yeah, that was fucking cool.
Love that kind of shit, dude. Like that is I don't want to tack on an extra hour to this podcast because I could like talk about that shit forever, but like yeah, I was very kind of adverse to that whole school of thinking for most of my life, and then my girlfriend actually like kind of keyed me into it a little bit, and so yeah, I would consider myself to be like a relatively like spiritually in tune person, which is tough to be as a death metal front man.
Yeah,
because you got to be like the whiskey swilling like party guy, but I'm like a pretty shy person.
Are you a whiskey swilling party guy?
I'm a whiskey swilling guy. I'm not really a party guy. Like I get tuckered out. Like my night ends at 10:30.
Death metal vocalist getting tuckered out. Yeah, where are you tomorrow?
Newcastle.
It's a short drive.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna party tonight.
Are you staying in Glasgow?
Yeah.
Oh, let's fucking.
We're gonna get fucked up tonight for sure.
Slow down.
Well, yeah. I mean,
do you want one of those fucking animals?
Yeah. But, I like being snug as a bug, bro. Like I like being cozy. That's my life.
Okay, right. We're gonna get to the next segment.
Yeah,
because I can tell it's gonna be great. So we got a thing. I stole it from another podcast, basically, but not. There's a podcast called Off Menu, right? It's a foodie podcast, very very popular in the UK, and they get someone on and they talk about their dream restaurant, and there's no holds barred. The only rule is that you are eating at the restaurant, and they go through the courses or whatever. I actually had Ed from Off Menu on my podcast because he likes metal, likes fucking like favorite band is High on Fire, and it's like one of the biggest. He's on TV on food blogs and shit.
Yeah,
and his favorite band, he's like a stupid High on Fire, like big, like he's an actual metal guy. Had him on the podcast, and I was like, well, what can I do that can sort of bring his world to my world? I was like, I'll just rip off his fucking idea. Dream Festival, and it's stuck, and people seem to like it, and it is thus. The plot is thus. It is your curated, Alex from Undeath, your curated Dream Festival. I'm going to talk you through it in reverse order. Mm-hmm. The only rule, there's no rules. People can come back to life. People can have never died in the first place. Holograms, locations, it's completely, it wants to be like, oh, I just woke up from the craziest dream. The only stipulation is that Undeath is playing.
Oh, okay.
So whether that you could say, I want my Dream Festival to be, in a fucking... the center of the earth and everyone's melting and dying. It's like, no, you don't want that because you're going to be there. So, the first question is, where would Alex from Undeath's Dream Festival take place?
Ooh, okay. It would be indoors, I think.
An indoor fest?
Yeah, because, well, shit. I mean, you said we can do anything.
You can do anything. So
okay.
You want to start with the country? You want to start with the location?
I'm actually going to take back the only thing I've said so far. It won't be indoors.
Okay.
My festival is going to be in a field in upstate New York in the springtime when it's like on a rare, beautiful day.
Nice.
Where it's, 76, 74, light breeze. And the whole festival is going to perpetually take place at sunset.
Nice. See, now I love it. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes for someone to say something which is impossible. You've done it straight away, which is great. Perpetual sunset. So
that's the best when you're at like an outdoor show and like the sun starts to go down and like you're watching a band and you're like a little drunk or whatever, you're like a little stoned, and it's just like that. I want to live in that moment. I want to see 9 bands in a row in that moment.
Okay, so it's my job as the scientist here, right, is to
tell me that that's impossible.
No, in order to facilitate your dream festival, we need to think of a world where that'd be possible. So there's some sort of cataclysmic event has happened, rendering upstate New York in a state of perpetual sunset.
Yeah, it's like a nuclear holocaust kind of thing has occurred, but like the nuke struck like Utica, and
so people have died to create this festival.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no great things can be achieved without sacrifice.
Okay, good.
So,
good.
Like, but the nukes struck like particular places so that upstate is just locked in this endless cycle of sunsets.
Nice. Is there radiation?
Yeah, there's like a little dusting of radiation.
Some like just that. Can you taste metal? This band's great. What's that? Okay, so we're in upstate New York,
post-apocalypse.
Post-apocalypse.
But we're chilling.
But everyone's back.
Yeah.
It's not like
we're coming back.
There's no cordyceps activity.
No cordyceps, nothing like growing out of people's skulls. Like we're starting to like get our feet back under us, like we're chilling.
And it's a state of constant sunset, which is fantastic. You're allowed to remove yourself from the sort of the lines that you've drawn around the situation there, if you want, for the next question. Is what is your accommodation? You don't have to go full nuclear bunker. You don't have to stay on that now.
Like as a band, like what do we get? Like
no, what would you love in your dream festival? But then if you want to regale me with some sort, see how it's made for this conversation. Right. If you want to regale me with, one time we did, you can, but you don't have to.
Sure. Okay. Number one, there has to be space for everybody to be able to sit down if they want to.
Is this a very recent? It's a very recent, fresh in the brain.
Like there has to be seating arrangements readily available for not only like the people attending the festival, but for the bands as well. And
I love to sit down and watch a show.
It's the best. And it doesn't have to be like plush. We're talking like picnic tables. We're talking, just regular chairs, stools. It's fine. Just like a place to not be standing up briefly. But everything is arranged in such a way where it's like a big kind of like, not exactly a panopticon, but like a very large extended horseshoe where there's like kind of the stage and like, it's like a bandshell kind of environment. Plenty of room up front for like the pit activity, and like, the stage is low enough that you could dive if you want to. But if you're sitting, you still have a good vantage point from wherever you're at to watch the bands. But also in this fantasy.
Yeah, this is great. This is what we want.
The environment is like accommodating and like the vibes are good enough that, sometimes when you're playing a show and everybody's sitting down, you kind of feel like you're playing to not be executed in a way.
Yes.
It's like you feel like you're the entertainment for like a purge kind of situation.
You're a jester.
Yeah, it's like, and if you fuck up, like a trapdoor is going to open. Like it doesn't feel like that. You feel like you're just part of like a very communal, chill experience where people are like pitting and stage diving.
Nice. But where are you sleeping?
So then the backstage accommodations, we're going to have like a Harry Potter kind of situation where like you enter a tent, but it's actually like a 2-story room.
Nice.
So there's going to be like very nice kind of like teepee looking lodging arrangements.
Oh yeah, I know.
All stretching in this big field behind that's like corded off behind the stage. But then you go inside and it's like a loft kind of situation. There's like a little communal area in the bottom, and then upstairs there's going to be like a big California king size bed, maybe 2 or 3 of them. And that's what the bands get.
So that's leading me. Also, you answered quite a lot of the next thing, which is fine. So backstage, you've actually just explained what backstage is, but like, what goodies have you got backstage? Or what does Undeath want backstage in the Dream Festival?
Seltzer water.
What's your seltzer of choice?
Pamplemousse LaCroix.
There's the best out of the LaCroix. But I'm a Spindrift guy.
That shit is good too. I love like a flavored bubbly water.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of it. I mean,
textured water. Are you kidding me?
It is such a scam, but
I love it.
I'm fully into it. And when you get a new flavor, it's fucking awesome.
That's like, I mean, yeah. I said I get tuckered out. Like I go to the grocery store and I see like a new flavor of Polar Seltzer. I'm like fucking hyped.
Polar fucking rocks. The best.
Well. Yeah. So plenty of that. Booze, like, it doesn't have to be fancy. I guess what Undeath would need, it's just like a 30 rack of High Life, 30 rack of, Miller Lite, some shit like that.
It's pretty death metal.
Maybe
but this is a dream festival. This is like, you turn up and you're like, holy shit, this is what they've got.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the dream. It's like,
nice.
Like I'm living my dream.
That's cool.
Like we, I could say like, oh, and the cooler is stocked with every craft beer imaginable, like all the rarest shit. There's like, monk beer and heady topper and all this shit. But like, and that would be great. But when you get that kind of stuff, this sounds so like spoiled, but there's like an expectation of enjoyment. Like there's like the pressure is on. It's like, well, now I have access to this amazing beer. Like I have to really sit down and focus on it.
Oh,
like,
it becomes a thing.
It's a thing. It's a whole event, which is fine. But like when I'm playing a show, it's like I just want to drink a beer too. Like I want to just relax and like I want to drink something that I don't have to think about.
Yeah.
And like Miller High Life, Miller Lite, Jenny, like
I love like a shitty fucking
it's the best.
Miller Lite, Bud Light.
I like Bud Light too.
I love a Coors Light.
Yep.
Like
Coors Banquet.
What I've realized with them, the common denominator with a lot of them is that instead of wheat, they're brewed with rice.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fucking science is there, but it just makes it so just like, this is like fucking fruit juice.
Yeah, I think they call them adjunct lagers. I think that's like the technical term for them. I could be wrong about that.
Professional beer drinker.
I mean, like, look at my titties, dude. Like, I love beer. That's where they all go.
I could have got you could have a beer.
Well, it's fine.
I've got really nice beers. I know you said the thing about the craft beer. Maybe it would have ruined the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, like it would have been bad because it would have been burping the entire time. But yeah, like 30 rack of maybe let's go crazy. Let's do 2 30 racks.
So it's quantity over the quality of the beer.
We're gonna go 1 30 rack of Miller Lite, 1 30 rack of let's say regular Genesee beer.
What about, you got whiskey? You got a favorite whiskey?
Yeah, we're gonna do. Let's go bottle of Jameson. Maybe in the whiskey department we'll go a little fancier. Maybe we'll do like a bottle of Jameson and then something a little bit nicer. So we'll do like a Buffalo Trace or something.
Big fan.
Yeah,
I love a bourbon.
Yeah, like just a nice, slightly expensive bottle of Kentucky bourbon.
Love it. Buffalo Trace, nice and strong as well.
Love that one.
Fuck you up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should actually.
You know what? Actually,
yes, he's in. I love it when people are in.
Third bottle. Go. We're gonna do Jameson, Buffalo Trace, and we're gonna do what's that like really crazy whiskey that's hard to find? It's like Pappy Van Winkle.
Oh yeah, that's Pappy Van Winkle. That's the fucking.
We're gonna do one of those too.
That's the pro shit. Someone else has been on the podcast and told me, and also had Pappy Van Winkle in their Dream Festival. I can't remember who it was, but they said that they were at a bar in Glasgow actually, and there was a bottle of it. It was the hotel bar, and there's a bottle on the shelf. And the guy was like, it was like celebrating someone. Fuck, I wish I could remember who it was. It was celebrating someone, and it was like, oh, can I have a shot?
A single?
Yeah. And the guy behind the bar, it was like dusty. He'd never had to serve it to anyone. So it wasn't coming up on the system. And the guy was like, oh, like, this is not coming up on the system. Do you mind if I just put it through as a Jack Daniels? And the guy was like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Do you know what? I'll have 6 of those. I'll have 6 of those. Dude, I ended up drinking the whole fucking bottle.
My girlfriend and I were I think we were in Denver or Boulder or somewhere in Colorado, and we were at a specific whiskey bar. And they had a bottle, it was like a 13-year, 12-year, whatever it was, of Pappy. And I was like, out of curiosity, like how much would a double of that be? And he was like, let me check. And it was like $65.
I think that's what the guy did. I can't remember who it was. That's what how much is that up there just to check so they could do it? And then, I don't know. I'll just put it for his Jack Daniels. Okay, 6, please.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So yeah, bottle of that.
I should find out who it is, and we should go to that bar tonight
and scam them
and see if it's still there.
let's skip the whole show. Let's just do that.
Fuck yeah.
And then we'll do some mixers. We'll have some orange juice, some lemonade, and some vodka and some tequila.
Nice. That's good. Okay, so that leads me to the next part before we get to anything to do with music, because everyone knows that what we've just talked about is the best part of a festival. What is the catering? Has Undeath got any dietary restrictions? You got any favorites? You got any top fucking... If your dream festival, who's doing the catering or what is the catering?
So there's like a difference. There's like what Undeath would want, and then like what all of us can agree on, and then there's what I would want.
I would like both of these.
So what we could all agree on would be like 10 pizzas flown in from somewhere in New York, like L&B's or something.
There's nothing better.
It's the best. So like Rosa's, like just like a dope.
Rosa's fucking rules.
It's the best. It's like, okay, you know what, we'll do that. And actually, shout out to Colin. He turned me on to this pizza. We're gonna get 10 ravioli pies. It's just pizza. It's a cheese pizza with ravioli on top.
Sounds fucking great.
It's heavenly. We're gonna get 10 of those.
Nice.
We're gonna get them flown out and heated up in the green room. That's gonna be like the main source of food. And then on the side, I mean, we're like a treats band.
Nice.
Like
Stray's a treats band.
We love like walking around the gas station and just like admiring all the snack options.
That's also a weed thing.
Yeah, that definitely helps. But we're gonna get like various bags of chips and like just assorted chips and snacks and stuff like that.
What's your go-to chip? Top chip.
Top chip, Zapp's Voodoo.
Ah, they're quite a big like. It's quite a big musician thing.
Yeah.
This is so weird. Gay bar photographer turned me onto those.
Yeah, they're the best.
I'm a tacky guy.
Okay, yeah, I like Takis. They're good, but they like make my tongue hurt.
Yeah, oh, that's what I like about it. It's like I'm kind of doing drugs, but I'm eating chips.
I love an all dressed chip. You ever had one of those? It's like a Canadian
Is that
thing.
the fucking, and it's just
It's got like
ranch fucking.
It's like, I don't know what the exact seasoning combination is, but it's supposed to be, I think it's like salt and vinegar, ketchup, barbecue, and something else.
Oh, I'm talking shit, and no, I don't know what that is.
And they like mix it all together, and the flavor is called all dressed.
Sounds awesome.
It's great. It used to be like a Canada exclusive thing, but you can get them in New York and stuff now too.
What about a sweet treat?
Sweet treat, peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh, the best. Don't have them here.
Really?
When I come home, I have to come home like my fucking suitcase is stuffed with
M&Ms.
treats. Honestly, cereal and fucking peanut butter M&Ms. Our cereal sucks. US cereal is my fucking.
Well, because it has no nutritional value whatsoever.
Yeah, it's poison.
Yeah, it's literally fucking poison.
So sick though.
Peanut butter M&Ms. I'm a big Skittles guy.
Really?
Skittles, yeah.
Some Skittles around here somewhere.
Just like, I'm like stuff like that. Really, as long as there's peanut butter or peanut M&Ms there.
Big Skittles guy. Sorry to.
Yeah, I'm a Skittles head.
You're a Skittles head. I had a great joke, but you were in the middle of something when you were talking about Harry Potter. You a pothead.
I had to have like major like dental surgery
because of the Skittles.
Because I abused Skittles for like so long. I had like hadn't gone to the dentist in like 9 years.
Like I would never pick Skittles ever.
Really?
How are you eating them? Like
with my hands in my mouth.
Are you like a sucker, or you straight in and chew?
Yeah. I mean, like I just I like to space out and just 3-finger pinch, just get a couple Skittles, put them in.
I kind of want Skittles now.
Yeah, I mean, the craving is incredibly real.
Yeah, I'm getting necrophagist Skittles, fucking Pappy Van Winkle. Okay, music.
Ugh.
Who's the headline? Give me 2 headliners.
It's going to be a very incongruous festival. It's not going to make a lot of sense.
No one's has ever made any sense.
But in this post-apocalyptic fantasy world, it's going to feel right.
Okay.
Headliner is going to be the set that The Cure was playing. The Cure is headlining.
Very nice.
And they're going to be playing their set from the Prayer Tour, which is the tour they did off of Disintegration.
Wow.
So it's going to be...
You're a sad boy as well.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, me too. That's it.
I'm a sensitive guy,
nice.
bro. So it's going to be The Cure playing like all of the hits from 1989 to the past. So that's going to be the set. So no stuff off Wish, which is kind of a bummer, but like
I mean, it's your dream. You can you can allow them to do that.
Okay, so they're gonna play Letter to Elise. They're gonna play Wendy Time, but it's like mainly a set composing of songs off Disintegration, Kiss Me, and Head on the Door. That's like the main headlining attraction.
Nice.
And they're gonna play for like 3 hours.
And
which
you've
is
got
not
a seat in your accommodation area.
Chilling.
Oh, so sick.
Skittles. And also in the accommodation room, there's a way to beam the show directly into your skull.
Ah,
so you
nice.
don't have to stare at the screen. So I'm just sitting back there. Just
you know, it's because it's a dream. You can have a balcony and watch the show from there.
Okay, so I'm on stage.
Or do you want the beaming?
Okay, so in this fantasy,
you want the Batman Forever thing? Or
I'm
not?
side stage in this fantasy, and I'm watching The Cure, and in between every song, Robert Smith walks up to me personally, and he's like, "Did you like that one? Was it good?" I'm like, yeah, it was great.
It's great.
He goes, "I'm so happy you're here, Alex."
That's nice. Okay, this is great.
So they're the main headliner, and then the other headliner. Let's see. We're gonna do Necrophagist.
Oh, I was hoping
because I never got to see him, and they're just gonna play. What is it? It's not. What's the record before Epitaph? It's not Foul Body Autopsy.
That's the song of it.
Yeah, they're gonna play that record in Epitaph.
Onset of Putrefaction.
Onset of Putrefaction. Putrefaction.
There's so many long words.
I hate it. I don't like words with more than 3 syllables in them.
Again,
and they're gonna open. They're gonna open with To Breathe in a Casket, and then they're gonna go straight into Stab Wound, and it's gonna be amazing.
What is the first track on Onset of Putrefaction? Putrefaction.
It's not To Breathe in the Casket. That's 2.
It's
Foul Body. Is it Foul Body Autopsy?
It might be Foul Body Autopsy, but it has the bass shit. It's got the bass.
Yeah, it's got bass.
It's got the bass. I need to pull it up because it's going to annoy me. I would love to see that.
So they're going to play like a nice, cool hour-long set.
It is Foul Body Autopsy.
Yeah. So The Cure, Necrophagist, career-defining sets.
Career-defining sets of completely different genres. Yeah. Are they on the same day, or is this a 2-day affair? Doesn't matter.
That's a good question. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, it's not really happening, so you don't have to put that much thought into it.
You're right. You see where my mind tends to live.
Yeah, but I love that because people get really into it. I had fucking Andy Hurley from Fall Out Boy on here, and he got another fucking JRPG guy.
Sweet.
He got, because he plays D&D, he got so into the Dream Festival. And at first he was just like, oh, I guess it would be, we sometimes do festivals here. And by the end of it, it was like, post-show, there's D&D. Trent Reznor's the Dungeon Master. Like, he fucking fully flipped.
You know, because it's at Perpetual Sunset and time doesn't really seem to matter, it's going to be a 1-day fest.
Nice. Okay, so that's the main stage. That's a fucking stacked lineup. Where's Undeath on the bill?
As far at the bottom as we can be, so I can watch bands. How many bands do I get?
I mean, you don't have to list any more, but you can list more. The only one that I require for this self-imposed rules of the festival is one smaller band that you're into.
Sure.
That you would like to sort of give a shout out to.
Yeah, totally. So we're not first, but we're close enough to first that I can just roll up and get the set out of the way.
And you're playing to the full.
Yeah. Oh, and everyone's there, of course.
Everyone's there, yeah.
And they're hyped for our set. But,
fuck yeah.
We're pretty close to the beginning, and then another newer band that's dope is this band Sedimentum. They're from somewhere in Quebec, I want to say. But
ooh, they got that. Are they death metal?
Yeah, they've got that French Canadian goopy death metal sound.
Love it.
Fucking awesome. They put out an album last year.
What are they called?
Sedimentum.
Sedimentum.
They did a split with that band Phobophilic. Have you ever heard of them? Yeah. So they're awesome. They're playing too, and I'm gonna stage that after they've said about 1,000 times.
Right. There's 2 times in this podcast that I've wanted to interject and have a discussion about something, but there wasn't the right moment to do it because you were on a roll, which was great. You want to talk about that weird cryptopsy moment in time?
Yeah.
The dog shit part.
With the clean singing and everything?
What the fuck happened?
I don't know. I try not to think about
it.
But
the EP after it.
Great.
It's so fucking sick.
Yeah, I my cryptopsy shit is obviously Blasphemy and None So Vile. Those are my they swapped number one spot.
The artwork for None So Vile is
incredible.
So good.
None So Vile for me is like, that's a top 3 all-time album, regardless of genre. I love it so much. But also, the cryptopsy that I listen to the most these days is like Whisper Supremacy. Like, I think Mike DeSalvo is an amazing frontman. And I know a lot of people don't really fuck with him because he like, a lot of metal guys, because he has kind of like a hardcore-ish approach to vocals. Like, it's a little bit more shouty than growly.
But I like that as well.
It works. Like, over Cryptopsy's music, I think it fits in a very unnatural way. And it's like a very exciting thing to listen to. So yeah, like his records, Whisper Supremacy, and the other one is And Then You'll Beg. Amazing.
And Then You'll Beg's fucking a classic.
Yeah.
Are they on the festival?
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Go, give me some more bands that you would love to see on this lineup.
Well, for me, it's going to be a lot of bands playing like album sets. Because
Nice.
I love album sets. I don't think I would ever want to do one as a band.
Oh,
like,
my fucking worst nightmare.
it's like learning songs that you never really intended to play live.
And you played in the studio and they were far too hard for you to play and you punched in every fucking fill.
But as a music fan, I love seeing that shit. So like, we're going to have At the Drive-In playing Relationship of Command front to back. We're going to do Orchid doing Chaos Is Me front to back. We're going to do Opeth.
Oh,
Fuck it.
This is a whole fucking...
They're going to do Blackwater Park and Ghost Reveries back to back.
This festival, you're going to have to put this on 2 days.
Why?
Is that
Perpetual Sunset.
Are they your top 2? Oh, yeah, shit. Are they your top 2 Opeths?
Yeah.
Where do you stand on new Opeth?
How new? Like Watershed new or like the new stuff?
Watershed, my man, was 2008. So that is, I'm pretty sure it's 2008. But that was when people started calling it new Opeth.
Yeah.
But I fuck with Watershed.
I love Watershed.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to the most recent Opeth album, but I mean, I celebrate all eras of Opeth. I love like the early, more like it's almost like black metal-ish shit, like the stuff on Orchid. Like I love My Arms Your Hearse. Blackwater and Ghost Reveries. Those are two of my all-time favorites.
The middle, Deliverance, Damnation,
Yep.
Blackwater Park, Ghost Reveries. That little middle era is I like it all.
That's my favorite too.
Is just unfuckwithable.
I feel like that was when they kind of had the perfect balance of like all the kind of different shit they were going for, which I love.
And it was like, wait, there's good production. Wait, there's death metal. Wait, there's an acoustic guitar. Oh my God.
So yeah, it's like, it's going to be a lot of shit like that. I could literally just sit here for hours and rattle off bands that I would want to see play full albums.
I saw Opeth at the Royal Albert Hall in London, which is a big fucking Royal Hall. Sat down, I had a fucking seat.
That's great.
And it was just after Ghost Reveries came out and they played it was just bangers. It was fucking unbelievable.
Do you know the band Spiritualized? They're a British band. They're from, I don't know my British geography at all, but I think they're up north somewhere. But they originally, the main dude, his name is Jason Pierce, I think. He was in a band called Spacemen 3, and it's very like stripped back psychedelic guitar music, just lots of like long interwoven like guitar leads and shit. It's very meditative, very like spaced out. I would do a dual set where first it's him and a reunited Spacemen 3 doing their albums Playing with Fire and Dream Weapon back to back, and then there's a cocktail break. So we chill, go back to the tents, go back to our Harry Potter TVs.
What cocktail are you having?
We're gonna do a gin and tonic probably, or a vodka soda, some shit like that. Something like
nothing crazy.
Heavy, just something light and effervescent.
Okay.
Back to
the seltzer guy.
Yeah, back to the band shell. Spiritualized set. They're doing their first 3 albums, so this is gonna be like a 3-hour long set. But it's Perpetual Sunset, and we're all dying of radiation poisoning. So like we don't notice time passing.
Okay.
So that's, I think, Laser Guided Melodies, Pure Phase, Ladies and Gentlemen, We're Floating in Space.
Maybe one of the side effects of the medication that everyone is on is that you don't have to sleep.
Yeah,
and that's why this can happen.
Your body,
if you sleep, you'll die. So you need to have this medication.
Your body enters like a sleep state.
Stasis, just like.
But you're still like cognizant of what's happening around you, and you can still like go out and watch bands and party and shit. But your body is like recovering while you're doing it.
Trippy.
Yeah,
I like it. Which leads me to the final part of the festival. It's a great time. I can't wait. Can I come?
Yes.
Get me on the guest list. +1.
Yep.
Can't wait to see Necrophagist again and die slowly from radiation poisoning. If you are the second festival in a row to feature radiation poisoning, and not in these won't come out. These will come out separately. But it was North Lane's one, and I had both of them. I had John and Josh on, and Josh wanted the festival to be in Bergen, Norway, and John wanted it to be in Tokyo. And then obviously, as I have to curate these things, I came in and said basically, okay, so in some sort of future, again, why am I always doing the war? I was like, there's been a war between Tokyo and Norway. And Tokyo and Japan won. So we're in Neo Bergen, where it looks like Akira, but you're in fucking...
I was going to say it's like a fucked up Akira.
Yeah, that's what it was. So they had radiation poisoning as well.
Okay.
That was part of their festival. But anyway, what is the after party? Your dream after party?
Dream after party for me... it's nothing crazy. It's just
fine.
Me, one-on-one, I get to just hang out with Robert Smith. And he's like not like his typical curmudgeon-y self. Like he's open to questions. Like he's down to talk about the cure and shit.
It's the radiation.
It's the radiation. Like he's just like basking in this like radioactive glow. And like it's like there's a little bit of a party beforehand. Like we're all just chilling at the Harry Potter TPs. Like all the bands are backstage. Like we're doing some drinking. We're doing some smoking, whatever. Peanut butter M&Ms. Everyone's having a good time. And then everybody starts to filter out, but it's me and Robert Smith. We're on like a nice couch. And I'm like, dude, like, what was it like recording Disintegration? Like, tell me about it. Like, and then he's playing songs for me acoustically.
Oh, nice. Real cool. That sounds like a dream. It sounds like a dream festival. I'll take that.
And none of it feels awkward or forced. Like, we're just hanging out. And he's like, do you mind if I play?
Yeah, he starts it.
Yeah,
would you mind if I played you some intimate versions of our songs?
Of course.
It's fine, Robert. Okay. What's Undeath got coming up?
We're doing this UK tour.
That will be done by the time this comes out.
Okay, so we did this UK tour. It was fucking sick. And then...
First show's tonight, by the way.
Yeah. When is this coming out, do you think?
I don't know, it might be like 6 weeks from now.
Well, so I think by the time this comes out, we'll probably be wrapping up our US tour that we're doing. We're opening for Thy Art Is Murder.
Oh, I saw that lineup. That's fucking sick.
So they're headlining. It's like a 5-band like package kind of thing. We're third of 5. So before us is I Am and Justice for the Damned. And then after us is Kublai Khan and Thy Art.
See, that's putting you firmly in the hardcore club. Yeah. But I love every single one of those bands on that bill.
And we're the kind of band that, like, when we get opportunities like that, like, we just say yes.
Yeah,
like,
fuck yeah. It's a great tour for you.
Yeah, I'm fucking really excited about it. Like, the venues are massive for us, so I'm stoked about that. A lot of the shows are selling out, so that's cool, too. I think it's going to be a great time. I mean, we have fun wherever we go and whoever we tour with. Like, we're just down to, like...
Kublai Khan is so much fun. There's people that are, the ones that I know are so much fun. Like,
it's going to be a great time. We're really excited about it, so we're doing that. And then that immediately, we're home for like 2 days, and then we go to Australia, and we're doing just 2 shows. We're doing Brisbane, and then we're playing a festival.
2 shows?
Yeah. I wish we were doing more.
That's a long way to go for 2 shows.
Yeah, but I think like the fest that we're doing paid for the flights or something. So
Australia's so sick like that. They're just like, yeah, we'll pay for your flights, and then when you do a big tour out there, they pay for your flights in between shows.
Yeah. I think it's that kind of deal because it's like the pre-show fest in Brisbane is connected to the fest in Melbourne.
What's the festival?
It's called Into the Fall. It's a new thing. It's like I think it's people who have done Australian stuff before, like trying out a new festival.
When is it? I mean, I don't expect you to know this. I should know this.
It's in early March. It's like days after the Thy Art tour ends.
Oh, still it's Australian summer.
Gatecreeper's playing.
Nice.
Obscura, we're playing, obviously.
Obscura.
Yeah. You know who I'm most stoked about, though? I mean, I'm stoked to see Obscura and Gatecreeper, obviously, but Inverloch is playing. You familiar with that band?
No.
Do you know the band Disembowelment?
Yeah.
It's that band. I think the guitar player started a new band called Inverloch, and it's basically just like a 21st century Disembowelment.
Oh, sick.
And they never play. So I think you have to go to Australia to see them if you ever
And
want
you're
to.
getting to go.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
we're
a dream
playing
festival.
Exactly. So I'm really, really excited to watch their set.
Fuck yeah.
And after that, I mean, we're home for a little bit, and then we're doing like Eurofest stuff in the summer. But we've got like 2.5 months to chill.
What ones you doing?
We're doing. Let's see what's been announced. It's called Into the Grave. We're doing that one.
Oh, you're doing the metal things.
Oh yeah, we're doing like the fields in Denmark. We're doing that
What
one.
month? I just want to know if...
I think most of them are in June.
Yeah, so we're doing the festivals in June. I want to know if we're on anything together.
We're doing Copenhagen.
Oh, you're so metal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, but we're not.
We're doing Mystic Fest in Poland.
Yeah, metal again.
I think Pantera's on that one. I don't know for how much longer, but...
That's an interesting... You know what my thing is with that, right? I will use my platform to fucking say my opinion on this, because I'm allowed, because it's my fucking shit, and I'll do what I want. Like, the festivals knew what he did...
Yep.
When they booked him, they just do it to see. Do you reckon we can get away with this? There's a lot of money. Should we just try? And then everyone goes, for right or for wrong. Yeah, for right or for wrong, right? You know, I think what he did was fucking heinous, right? But I'm not gonna fucking. I think it's insane what he did, and yes, there should be repercussions. But you can't book the fucking band, knowing full well, you can't tell me that whoever books these massive festivals was just like,
and then
he did what?
And then you're like trying to get brownie points afterwards.
And then, and then
you booked him, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then everyone going, you need to remove this band. And I go, oh, we've recently found out about the stuff Phil Anselmo did 10 years ago. So we've decided to take him on the festival. And then everyone goes, oh, well done. They fucking tried to get away with it. They tried to get away with it. It annoys the fuck out of me.
Dude, you know what's crazy?
Book them or don't book them. That's it.
Right. I was aware, this is like 2 years ago. I knew that there was that video of him at some show giving that like white power speech.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought it was like a one-time thing. And then I got curious and I went back and watched the video after like Phil Anselmo was in the news for like something. And I was like, I want to like see that dude making a fool of himself again. So I watched that. And in the video, at the beginning of his speech, he's like, I've been taking time at every stop in this tour to say this. I was like, oh, so they have a dedicated part of their set every night where the band leaves and Phil gives a white pride speech. Like,
what? I didn't know that.
It's in like the video that is everywhere of him, and it's like super grainy footage. But at the beginning of it, he's like, I've been saying this every night.
I just remember him saying white power, and then the excuse was we were drinking white wine.
That was way in the future. This is like back when Pantera was touring and shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That was a totally separate incident.
I mean, the flags were a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
But the fucking... Oh, you're talking about Pantera. Right? Yeah, it's like, these people fucking knew, so just don't book him.
Yeah.
Like, it annoys me that they get praised. It was the same with As I Lay Dying. Everyone was like, we put him on the festival, and then everyone kicks off, and they go, we've recently found out about what happened with As I Lay Dying, so we've kicked him off the festival. It's your job to know.
That little incident where he tried to have his wife killed.
In Barnes & Noble. That's what annoys me about it. Just fucking...
Just don't do it.
Stick to your fucking guns. Yeah. We shouldn't book this guy because the white wine thing.
Yeah, and all the other stuff.
but that's like the one that keeps going. And I keep like, I don't know why they still follow me and I still follow them or whatever, but Revolver posts about Pantera all the time. And I just reply underneath every single one with the wine emoji. Every single time. No one does anything about it, but it's like, it's weird.
Yeah. It's crazy that there's like 4K footage of him throwing up a Zig Heil.
Throwing it up.
And like he still is on all these fests.
But there was no like my issue with it, and it's the same the Lambesis thing, all of them, like there was no deep dive apology. There was, I'm sorry if that's a big fucking word. I'm sorry if people were offended.
Right.
No, you are sorry that you offended people, and this is why you're sorry. Not,
Right.
I'm sorry if you were offended, suggesting that there's some sort of ambiguity between.
I'm sorry if me throwing up a Nazi salute like bummed you out or whatever.
Fucking snowflakes. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I think we've done it. He's not invited to your festival.
No.
Although, no, he was booked, and we've taken the time to
I will
address
say, though,
the concerns.
If we could do a down set where they're playing the album Nola, but with somebody who sounds exactly like Phil Anselmo when they recorded that album, I would probably have them on that fest because that record is awesome.
It's a dream festival, so you could go as far as to say
it's a Phil Anselmo.
no, yeah,
who never did any of those things.
no. So what? Here's how I've got to bring it into the realms of the doable. Footage is released of ISIS with Phil Anselmo as a hostage, and they're basically saying like you have to.
Oh, so our hands are tied in the situation.
Yeah. No, this video is from like 1982. I guess it's Al Qaeda back then. I guess it's actually the U.S. government back then.
It was the Mujahideen slash the U.S. government.
Yeah, slash the U.S. government. In fact, the U.S. government funded the Mujahideen to abduct Phil Anselmo, make him be racist.
the CIA brain experiments.
Yeah, for the following years. And then this footage arises. And so it becomes known that he didn't really.
Yeah, it kind of exonerates him.
He had to do the salute, or else they were going to decapitate him, and therefore he can play the festival with down.
I think that's a fair excuse.
I would forgive him.
Yeah, me too.
I would forgive him. And on that note, 2 hours on the dot, pretty much.
Wow,
we're done.
Wow,
thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure, and it's flown by. Enjoy the show, and I'll see you there.
Hell yeah.